Hello and welcome. This is The Beautiful Game with Mike. My name is Mike Messicano, and this morning we're taking a look at Premier League round 11 match between Manchester City and Liverpool. 3-0 win for Manchester City. Just last season, Liverpool defeated Manchester City 2-0 at the Etihad. They've won the last two against Manchester City. So there was that expectation, considering, of course, that Liverpool had come off a win against Aston Villa and not a win against Real Madrid. So, there was just some momentum after losing 5 matches on the trot. There was just some momentum coming into this match, and so we expected a little bit more. All right, let's look at the goals, how they performed, and this is what we've spoken of at different times when it comes to Jeremy Doku. At this point in time where Konate came out and met with Bradley was already thrown on the floor here. There was nothing Bradley could do. Just before this had happened, the ball ricocheted off. Konate tried to take it off Doku, and it ricocheted off his player and came back into the path of Jeremy Doku. So both of them just went out of the equation. This was for the penalty, and there was nothing that they basically could do. But you see, by the time it went up, I know this is quite debatable. People have debated what could have happened there. It seemed a slight touch. Earlier on in the day, this same thing happened in the Newcastle match, Dan Bonds, where there was a touch, it wasn't given. You see, so at this particular point in time, I would say that for that first goal, that penalty was, some refs will not give it, some refs would, but I would not give it as it were. But even after all of those times, this was the move for the second goal. You had quite a number of Liverpool players in the box. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There was one other there, 7. How many Man City players? Let's take a look at the number of Man City players that we had inside the box here. Inside the box here. 1, 2, 3, Haaland, 4. Well, you knew that they were going to go for Haaland. Look at the placement. Van Dijk alone, 2 Liverpool players on their own. These people unmarked. They could have done a little bit more, But let's see how this all plays out. And by the time that cross even came in, right? Let's take a look at the placement of the players. By the time that cross came in, look at Robertson on his own, McAllister on his own, Van Dijk on his own, Gravenberch on his own. Just on an island. You left all the players. Bernardo Silva. Look at these guys basically on their own. Okay, the only person of note here, Konate, all he needed to do was just a slight, I don't know if that was a push and all of that, but you are going to have to double up on this guy when you are in the 18. You definitely need to, and at this moment they were unable to do so, and boom, Mamadashvili, there's nothing you could do on that post. You were just stuck to the post, and that was a beautiful header, and that was how that went in. There was nothing that he could do. Haaland goal, nothing that they could do. But look at those Man City those Liverpool players, just there on their own, could do nothing. Konate could have done better. You're a big guy. It's not like you're a small kid. You're a big guy. So at that particular point in time, now this was the Liverpool goal. Now this was the contentious goal. Many people have spoken about this. By the time Van Dijk takes this header from here, yes, there's Robertson here. But you see, looking at it from this angle, it might seem as though, but if you take a shot further from directly behind the post, Robertson was not directly in front of Gianluigi Donnarumma, and even without Robertson staying there, that would have gone in. I don't think that was enough to call it an interference replay. The rule says interference replay. We've seen this goal given a number of times. Even Manchester City last season, I think it was against Wolves, and that was Stones against Jose Sa. I think it was Bernardo Silva who was in such a particular situation. We've seen this given a number of times. So it is not objective, it is subjective. And this could have been 1-1. This should have been 1-1. At the enter 1-1, the game could have been differently. But Manchester City deserved their win. Much better than Liverpool on that day. Deserved their win, and there's no taking away. But at 1-1, who knows? The match could have gone anywhere, So that, of course, went off. And, the game went on. The game went on up until this point. The game just went on. Yeah. Okay. And then this was the one I spoke about. This was that second goal. Yep. Look at him gearing up to take that shot now. Look at the placement of these players. 2 players in front of him. 1 trying to close him down. Okay. 2 of them on this guy. 1 should have moved a little bit more. You understand? But I think there was no problem with the placement. You understand? Placement of players was quite well. But allowing him to get off that shot was quite an issue. Now let's see him take off that shot. And let's see how he goes with that shot. It's Van Dijk's. The problem is, how did he stand? It seemed as though he was trying to evade the ball. And this is not the first time Okay, okay, this is it. 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 Okay. I just want to get that exact point. Come on. What is this? What is this? What is this? You see, what was that? Well, okay, yes. Hands in front of you, but then if your hands is not if your hands are in a natural position, it's not a free kick. You don't have to put it in front of your crotch or your groin, as it were. But it's just you trying to is the opponent's goalpost? Are you trying to evade the ball? That is what it seemed like. That is what it seemed like. And we've seen a lot of memes on social media about Van Dijk and his, badly scared and doing that move. This was like another one of that. So, yeah, well, but that was it. And took the deflection. There was nothing Giorgio Mamardashvili could do. This was that long pass. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful long pass, I must say. And whoa, what can you say about this? Boom! He crowned the man of the match. Even without this goal, Jeremy Doku was already man of the match. This goal just solidified it. I mean, look at that quick fit. Look at that quick fit. Konate was basically a passenger there. There's nothing you could do. That's the kind of goals I expect from Mohamed Salah. That's the kind of performance I expect. I mean, Mohamed Salah will cut and take the left and pull it up that way. Doku was the one giving that day. Doku was defending. Doku was falling back. Everything good about Manchester City on the day was all about Doku. I think there was a chance. Okay, we didn't get to see that chance, but that chance that Salah missed at the end of the day, which normally Salah would put into the net. Let's take a look at the lineup and how they performed and how and where Liverpool lost this particular fixture. This was exactly the lineup that defeated Real Madrid. But even though they defeated Real Madrid, more had to do with how bad Real Madrid were than how good Liverpool were. But doesn't mean that Liverpool were not good. They were quite excellent. The defensive pairing, Konate and Van Dijk, made us remember last season and gave us glimpses of how good they are. But this was quite the major problem when it comes to that lineup, and that's talking about Florian Wirtz. It doesn't make sense. Yes, you spent over 120 to get a particular player, but so far, if it looks like to fit in Florian Wirtz into this Liverpool team, they've moved him to the center. Szoboszlai has played right back just to fit Florian Wirtz. McAllister has been out of the team. Gravenberch, in fact, are all in a bid to find where he fits. And at the moment, he looks lightweight for Premier League. Doesn't look like Florian Wirtz. There are times he plays football and you wonder, is this person, does he have the footballing IQ, as it were? He has been bullied quite a lot. But you see, if I was going to spend over 120 million for a particular player or that region for a particular player, yes, you need some time to adapt. But you see, there are players that adapt. Some might be months, some might be weeks, some might take a very longer time. But quality players, you expect them to adapt faster. Expectation doesn't mean that it will always happen. But at the moment, he doesn't deserve a starting berth in the Liverpool squad. And this is where there is a problem. I think about it and I expect maybe Rio Ngomuga was Liverpool's best player in pre-season. Federico Chiesa, at the start of the season, at every point, I think he has 2 goals. At every point Federico Chiesa came in, he gave this team so much more than Florian Wirtz is giving. And I will tell you why Liverpool lost this match, and it's because of these two, Florian Wirtz and Mohamed Salah. Quite a number of things should have happened, but these two contributed majorly to Liverpool losing this particular fixture. Look at Florian Wirtz. We saw him do better, falling back, to cover the runs of Czechia and Nunes, of course, who were bombing forward as you'd expect. But that defensive steel that you see, or that aggressive nature, that aggressiveness that you see from a Federico Chiesa, or maybe even a Rio Ngomuga, you never saw it from Florian Wirtz. Same thing on this side. Mohamed Salah, legend of Premier League, but you see, all good things come to an end. Going on 34, this might just be it. And Salah's deep in form didn't just start now. From March, Salah has had, and that match I can clearly remember, that PSG game, Nuno Mendes it seemed like the beginning of the end for Salah. From March, the second part of last season, up until this point, Salah has not been the same. He can't even take on players. And the problem is that he could not give Bradley enough cover. There was not enough cover from Bradley when you saw O'Reilly and Doku running at them, especially Doku. So you had to see either a Gravenberch or a Konate moving to help Bradley to cover the runs of Doku and leaving space here. Meanwhile, if a Salah could return back as you'd expect, then you give Konate space to cover other points and move up if Doku beats them. And so this was the problem. Salah not falling back as you'd expect. And that was a major issue. If you notice, anytime Salah went forward, Doku, man of the match, by the way, was always falling back to assist O'Reilly, doubling up on Salah. I saw it a number of times. Doku doubling up on Salah. And it's almost like Salah, you could call it the loss of form. I think that he has done his best, and going on 34, 33, going on 34, I think it's time when, you know, he is dipping at this particular point in time. And it is what it is. It is what it is. But you see, Doku, even with that wonderful man of the match performance, by the way, you know, he was always going back to help O'Reilly, doubling up on Salah, and that is where the problem was. You had these guys, Salah and Vet, not doubling back to try and help, and then even up front, not giving. Ekitike had basically no service. Lowest, one of the lowest of the match, 6.1 rating. He had no service. There was no way. You cannot blame him. You cannot blame Ekitike for what happened because there was no service. And then even when Arnslot made his changes, became a very major problem. Why did Vet stay as long as he went? And then you took out Ekitike, brought in Gakpo. When I saw Gakpo's number coming up, I expected that Florian Vet to be the one to go out. Why didn't Chiesa come in much early? What's 5 minutes for him to do it, or 3 minutes or so by the time he came in? Then you took out Ekitike, then you brought in Gakpo, and still left Vet there. What was Vet doing? I don't say Salah is untouchable. Look, it's football. Look, legend of the game, legend of the Premier League. Not even, no, I mean, no, that's undoubtable. Legend of Liverpool, legend of Premier League. In the Premier League era, but at this particular point in time, either a loss of form or he's on his way down, he's not delivering, and he should not be untouchable. At this point, he should not be untouchable. Gravenberch, Slobos like McAllister try to give their best as they are, but then this defensive pairing of Van Dijk and Konate, man, for me, 34, Van Dijk going on 35, he has played his best football. His best days are past him. That's no, I mean, you need to see how he was trying to shield himself for that Nico Gonzalez goal, the one that deflected off him. Konate has been, I don't know, people are talking about his head being turned by Madrid. But, you know, imagine what Eguehi would have done here if Liverpool had gone for that particular player as we're talking about Eguehi. So, you know, just so many things wrong. Mamadashvili was quite a bright light. I mean, from 2003, 2004 up until this point, he has the highest save percentage of penalties in open play, and that's 6. And he did that today for the first one against Erling Haaland. And, you know, so, I mean, probably the only bright light, as it were, especially when he saved that penalty, expecting that Liverpool would use that momentum to push up, you know, and win, and, you know, push for and fight for the game. But, didn't happen. But what can we say about this man? Doku, this man. The stats that he laid down on that particular day, 10 plus for take-ons, 10 plus for dribbles, 10 plus for duels, and then plus 3 shots plus 3 chances taken plus a goal in one match. I think since Eden Hazard in 2019, he's the first player to have stats over that particular benchmark, and kudos to him. There was no way this man was not going to be the player of the match. I don't think Vet should be a part of this team at this particular moment. A Rio Ngomuga, a Chiesa, and maybe a Wataru Endo. Give more of these players the chance. That so much money was spent doesn't necessarily matter. If they are not delivering, they are not delivering at this particular point in time. And from what I said, if Onslaught continues in this way, this happened before the last international break. This is another international break that is up on us now. You'd have more questions than answers. And as it stands, it's a case of the worst is still yet to come. Because this doesn't look like it's going to get better. Mohamed Salah should not have a starting bet. He should not be untouchable at this point. That's the point I'm trying to make. Mohamed Salah should not be untouchable at this point. In general, you need to, if you can go fight for Guehi, go get Guehi. You need to get Guehi. That's how it's going to perform. That's how I feel this defense is going to have some sort of shape. You need to get Guehi. Konate and Van Dijk at this particular point in time, not cutting out. Bradley and Bradley, okay, yeah, good performance against Madrid. And Vinicius Junior came up against Doku and he was it was destroyed, it was murdered. On the left side, Robertson, matured performance against Madrid, quite experienced performance, but then when he came up against Ryan Cheki, could not do it. Kekes came in a bit, but Keke seems to be bereft of confidence. And of course, remember how Van Dijk, that issue between Van Dijk and Keke on the pitch of play has been going off and on, off and on, off and on. It doesn't seem like it's going to be resolved any soon. It doesn't seem like there's trust on Keke, on Milos Keke. So, I don't know. They need to sort out that defense and DM. Maybe think of Wataru Endo. Get Wataru Endo to that squad, and maybe things might be better. All right. Thank you. That's the much. We can go on. Manchester City versus Liverpool. Manchester City are now 4 points behind Arsenal at the top of the table. And I dare say that it is not Liverpool that will push Arsenal to the wire for that particular title, but it will be Manchester City. It's a fact. With 4 points off at this stage of the season, I dare say that Manchester City look like the ones that have it in their hands. Because Arsenal, you never know. They look like they have the best squad. But hey, it's not the first time when they've bottled. And at this point in time, we can't be talking about bottling. This is 11 matches. So it's not like it's in their hand, but they can bottle. But with 4 points behind them in the chasing pack, we are in for a race. And I don't think Liverpool will have anything to do when it comes to being there at the end of the season. All right, now that's it on the beautiful game for this morning. Please like the channel, subscribe, be a part of it, turn on notifications, and of course, share this video. Thank you for all of that. If you love analysis like this, let's know what you think, in the comment section about anything that I said. What do you think about Liverpool? What do you think about Manchester City? What do you think about the players? How do you think Liverpool are going to get back to where they are? Let's know in the comment section, and let's have a good chat and, of course, some bands. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.